When Gemma first started showing signs of skin irritation, I realized something very important. Most people think you need a lot of products, tools, and complicated routines to care for a dog with dermatitis. But the truth is, when you understand the skin, things can actually be very simple. That's why today I'm sharing how I bath her at home, calmly, using very basic things, and why this routine matters while we wait for her diagnosis results. This is not a treatment video. At this stage, we're still waiting for lab results, so everything you see here is supportive care. My goal is comfort, skin protection, and preparation for proper treatment later. Something doing less, but doing it right is exactly what the skin needs. You might notice right away that I'm barefoot. That's not an accident. Anyone who has ever bathed a dog at home knows that waters end up everywhere. Wearing shoes on a wet surface can be risky, and sleeping while handling a dog is something I always want to avoid. Being barefoot gives me better balance and control, and safety always comes first. I'm also wearing gloves. That's another small detail that matters. Dogs with dermatitis can have bacteria or yeast on their skin. Even when there are no obvious wounds, glo- gloves protect my hands, especially if my skin is dry or irritated, and they also makes cleanup easier. Protection works both ways. One thing people often comment is the water or the water. It might look cold on camera, but it's not. It's lukewarm. I live in a country where temperatures can reach 38 degrees Celsius, 38 to 40 or 45. So what's look cold is actually very comfortable. You can tell by Gemma's body language. She's relaxed, calm, and clearly enjoying the bath. Dogs are very honest. If the were comfortable, she would let me know immediately. Before using any medication products, I always start with a neutral soap. This step is very important and often overlooked. The neutral soap gently removes dirt, oils, and the environmental debris without irritating the skin. By cleaning the surface first, the medicated shampoo can work more effectively afterwards. Think of it as preparing the skin rather than overwhelming it. The neutral soap I use is simple, dog appropriated and gentle, not a strong fragrance, no harsh ingredients. I applied it slowly using soft massage rather than scrubbing. Scrubbing can damage the skin barrier, and when the dog already has a dermatitis, that barrier needs protection, not aggression. Once I rinse the neutral soap thoroughly, I move to medicated shampoo. This is the only specialized products in this routine. The goal here is not to use more, but to use it correctly. Because the skin is already clean, the medicated shampoo can have better contact with the skin, which improves its effectiveness without needing excessive amounts. While applying the medicated shampoo, I focus on the areas where Gemma usually shows irritation, but I avoid overworking any single spot. Gentle, even courage is more coverage. It's more effective than focusing intensely on one area. Dermatitis skin responds better to calm, consistent handling. I let the shampoo sit for the recommended contact time. This part requires patience, but it matters. Rinsing too soon reduces the benefits, while leaving it too long can irritate the skin. Balance is key. You may also notice that I'm mindful of where the water and shampoo go. I'm close to drainage area, and I'm use minimal product. Being aware of environmental impact is part of responsible pet care. Small choices like not overusing shampoo make a difference. Rinsing is where many problems start if done poorly. Leftover shampoo residues is one of the most common causes of post-itching, post-bath itching. I take my time here, making sure everything is completely rinsed out. This step alone can greatly improve how a dog feels after bathing. Throughout the bath, I'm constantly observing Gemma, her posture, her breathing, the way she stands. All of this tells me how she's feeling. Bathing is not just about washing, it's about communication. When a dog feels safe, the experience becomes positive rather than stressful. Once we're done rinsing, I dry her using towel only. I avoid heat drying completely. Heat can worsen inflammation and dryness, especially in dogs with dermatitis. Towel drying is gentle, effective, and much kinder to sensitive skin. It's very important to say this clearly. Bathing does not cure dermatitis. Bathing does not cure dermatitis. This routine supports the skin while we wait for diagnosis results so that when the medication is prescribed, it can be targeted and effective. Proper diagnosis always comes first. What I hope this video shows you is that caring for a dog with skin issues doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need a long list of products. You need understanding, patience, and respect for the skin barrier. Sometimes the most effective care looks simple: calm water, neutral soap, medicated shampoo used correctly, and gentle drying does it. If this helps you feel more confident bathing your dog at home, it has done its job. Supporting the skin properly is part of a bigger journey, and every calm, thoughtful step matters. At this point in the bath, something interesting usually happens. Gemma fully relaxed. This is a moment where you can really see how much routine matters. Dogs with chronic skin issues often associate bathing with discomfort, but when it's done gently and consistently, it becomes a moment of relief instead of stress. That's something I've learned over time, and it changes everything. You'll notice that I don't rush. Rushing is one of the biggest mistakes people make during home baths. When you slow down, the dogs slow down too. The skin responds better, the muscles relax, and the experience becomes predictable. Predictability is incredibly important for dogs dealing with ongoing discomfort. This is also where observations becomes key. While I continue to rinse and gently handle her coat, I'm watching for changes in the skin: redness, dryness, flaking, or areas where the hair feels different can all tell a story. Bath time is actually one of the best opportunities to assess the skin closely because the coat is wet and the skin is more visible. One thing I want to emphasize is how little pressure I'm using with my hands. When dogs have dermatitis, the skin barrier is already compromised. Pressing too hard, or repeatedly rubbing the same area can cause micro irritation that isn't immediately visible but can worsen itching later. Gentle contact is not just kinder, it's more effective. You might also notice how I reposition Gemma slowly rather than pulling or forcing her. Small movements, clear communication, and patient helps keep the experience positive. A dog that feels safe is much easier to handle, and safety always comes before speed. As the bath continues, I'm very intentional about not adding more products. In this case, I'm touching her ears. In dogs with dermatitis and dog ear infection, we recommend to at least bath the superficial ear area. So I'm doing that there. And as the bath continues, as I say, I'm very intentional about not adding more products. More shampoo does not mean better results, especially when medicated products. Overuse can lead to dryness and rebound irritation. Using the correct amount on clean skin is what makes the difference. At this stage, the water flows stay consistent. Sudden change in pressure ability matters. Even small details like keeping the hose at the steady distance helps maintain trust. Living in a hot climate also changes how we think about bathing. When temperatures are high, lukewarm water feels refreshing rather than cold. This is why context matters so much. What works in one environment may feel different in another. Might feel different in another. Always adapt bathing routines to your climate and your dog's comfort. You can probably tell by now that Gemma is not trying to escape or resist. That tells me the routine is working. When a dog willing to stay in place, it's a sign that the bath is providing relief rather than discomfort. That's always the goal. This is also a good moment to talk about expectations. Bathing is not a quick fix. Skin conditions like dermatitis are long-term issues that require a combination of diagnosis, target treatment, nutrition, and supportive care. The bath is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's an important one. As I continue rinsing, I double-check areas that tends to trap shampoo, like under the belly, behind the legs, and along the back. Residue in these areas is easy to miss and often responsible for post-bath itching. Taking an extra minute here can save days of discomfort later. Now we're reaching the final part of the bath. At this stage, everything is everything I do is about transitioning from water to rest. I keep movement slow, voices calm, and energy low. Ending the bath gently is just as important as starting it gently. When I turn off the water, I immediately move to towel drying. I don't let her stand wet for too long, especially in areas with skin irritation. Moisture left on the skin and can encourage yeast or bacteria overgrowth. So gentle drying is part of the skin support. This video is part of Gemma's skin journey, where I'm sharing each step honestly and in real time. In the next video, I show what happens once the diagnosis results arrive and how treatment decisions are made. This path is just supportive care before that next step. If you want to follow Gemma's progress, I invite you to watch the next video in this series.